is Charlie Mike, the podcast. Veterans helping veterans, talking about things happening in the veteran community, things we've experienced and overcome, such as addictions, PTSD, depression, legal trouble. And we also promote veteran-owned businesses. If you're talking about it, we're talking about it. This is Charlie Mike, the podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Charlie Mike, the podcast. As always, I'm your host Raul, and your co-host William.
Welcome back, everybody. We took a little break, and Raul forgot his name.
Yeah, I forget a lot of things.
Right.
What you been up to, man?
Hey, man, life is good, and I am blessed. It's been awesome. It was a great break. It gave us time to kind of recenter, get back, and officially start this next season of where we're headed with Charlie Mike, the podcast, and I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely excited. I'm excited about what we have coming up. You know, we spoke offline about some of the things that are in the works, and it's exciting. It's exciting to see where we're headed and what we're doing.
Yeah, it's nice. You know, our name does mean continue mission. And that's what we're here to do. Sometimes we all need to take a break, but it's important that you get up and you keep driving, man. It's there's something bigger out there than all of us, and this podcast has definitely resonated with a lot of you, and really appreciate that. We love hearing from y'all. So if there's any ways that we can be of service, please reach out.
Yeah, definitely. Just always remember that you're not alone. That's one thing we want you to know. You know, if you're struggling, I was just speaking to Will about. Me and myself have been in a little mood myself. But I was telling him, I was like, I need to get in a routine. I need to get out of the house. I need to do things of that nature. So God, just know that you're not alone. Speak to a friend, talk, seek professional help. And it's okay not to be okay.
That's right. So I appreciate that, Raul. And sometimes it's self-identification. You know, you got to identify, you got to figure out what it is that you need. It's great to take a break, but sometimes you just have to identify what it is that I need to get through this, or what is it about me that I need to do to be a better person, or to take that next step. And that's where we're at. I appreciate you being truthful with that. It's a humbling experience to be around that, to say, man, hey man, I need some help, and let's do this. Let's get going. And again, it's that bigger mission. Sometimes we all have a bigger calling, and that's kind of what I hear you saying.
Yeah, definitely, man. I just wanted to just say that because, people think that they're the only ones that are in a struggle. And I struggle deep with depression and things of that nature. I take medication. And sometimes it don't work.
Right.
But let's bring in our guest, man.
Yeah.
We'll definitely.
So today we have the honor of having on Miss Heather Herlong Stevens, who is an Army former combat medic. She's also the president and owner of Heather Herlong Events, which is completely really, really cool to hear about and see some of the things that she's doing. And she's the president and co-founding member of the Spring Creek Army, Texas 18 Blue Star Mothers of America. If you don't know what a Blue Star mom is, it is a mother who has a child that is in the service. So that's completely unique. Obviously, a big portion of the service, if you've served, there's a likelihood that your kids will serve or that your parents served. And to be on both sides of that, I can't wait to hear about all of that. But without further ado, Miss Herlong, how are you today?
Fine. How are y'all doing?
We're doing good. We're just another day.
Yes,
right.
Here,
accomplishing more.
Mm-hmm. So why don't you introduce yourself to Charlie Mike Nation and let them know a little bit about yourself?
Okay. My name is Heather Herlong. I'm a multi-generational veteran. I'm a high performer. I like to have my hands and feet in a lot of different things. I've learned over the years that volunteering and being out in the community saves my soul and keeps me highly motivated. Y'all were talking about, some days you have good days, some days we have bad days. And I've used the community has helped me through a lot of that. So I love to give back, and I will do whatever it takes, and numerous hours out in the community to see what's going on and who's doing what. And so I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
No, we definitely appreciate you coming on the show. We have a lot. I follow you on Facebook, and I see that you're got your hands in a lot of things.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm what you call a high performer. I can't, and I'm super hyperactivity. So I can't sit still for too long.
I definitely relate to that. I feel when I go introduce ourselves or introduce myself and what it is that I do, and I'm like, well, I've got this, and then I have this other thing, and then I have this other thing. And I think that's a common trait with a lot of veterans. I feel like we have our thing, and then there's our supplemental thing. So why don't you tell us what it was like while you were in, or what led you to join the military, the Army?
Well, like I said before, I'm a multi-generational veteran. So we've got just about everybody in my family has served. Okay, multi-generations. I think we've got on record officially, I'm number 5. I think we can go
Wow.
back even before then. So it was a lifestyle to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
My personal story was a little different. With me being hyperactive and high performer, I was trying to do a lot at one time. I was 21, working 3 jobs and going to school full time, and about giving myself burnout. Really, I mean, I was just, and I knew I wanted to do something, but I was struggling with challenging myself. I have a lot of issues with, I love to do a lot of things, but I need that challenge. I need that someone to get in my face and say, hey, let's step up the game. I need that. I need someone to hold me accountable at a higher standard. And I was having a hard time with that. So I was like, well, crap on that. I'll just join. um, you know, and everybody thought I was crazy. Of course, this was back in the 90s. A lot of stuff was going on. A lot of crazy stuff was going on. We had everything from rioting, and Generation X was getting that bad label of, y'all got to do it yourself and do it your own way kind of label that was going on. And then we were also in between, the global topics that were going on, with Desert Storm and all in between, all that kind of stuff, on, off, all that craziness. So there's a lot of craziness, but I joined because I needed to push myself to the next level. Now, I'm one of those persons that I pray every day for God to show me what I need to see so that I know what I need to do, and I can accomplish the things that I need to accomplish. What I didn't realize is what that actually would look like, serving in the Army. So I joined the Army and enlisted for 4 years. Became a combat medic. I was trained in the same hospital that I was born in.
Wow,
That's crazy.
Yeah, which was a little freaky, but also good. So I got a lot of ties to Fort Sam Houston. And so it was a very unique experience. I was assigned to 44th Med Group, which is under 18th Airborne Corps. My particular unit, 261st, is a unique unit. The government likes to open up the unit for support and then close it down when the support's not needed. So my unit has a lot of on and off history since before the Korean War. But what we did was, which God really blessed me, put me in a place where I could really excel and do well. It was a medical support. Combat medics go out on the line. We can be put anywhere. We're not attached to a hospital. We're not necessarily attached to a clinic, but yet we can do it all. I had some unique experiences of being assigned to like the Golden Knights, and providing them with medical treatment through all their training. Their training is very intense. You know, the Golden Knights parachute team is the Army's presentation team. They go all over the country, actually all over the world, and do presentations to show what the Army paratroopers can do. We were assigned to things like a lot of domestic stuff as well as international. Domestic stuff was anything from going out on the line when there's a catastrophe with weather, you know, like Hurricane Andrew had just hit and destroyed Florida. Okay, so we were assigned to that. We were assigned, and then on the other hand, we were assigned to places like Haiti, where humanitarian efforts were needed because because of their governmental and weather situations, they weren't getting the humanitarian efforts that they needed. So they brought us in, stuff like that. So it was a very broad range of experience that we were able to get, all kinds of medical logistical stuff. So
wow. That's interesting. It seems like you've got a lot of opportunities there to really push yourself and figure out what it is you can do and what you can offer. And the Army said, you can offer a lot. Let's put it all to use.
Yes, exactly. Well, and not only that, you know, but my grandfather, he served in the Army and then went into the Navy and retired Navy. And he said, Heather, you know, growing up, when he wouldn't talk about the bad stuff. He was in World War II, obviously, and he was stationed on the Arizona for a little while right before it went down. But you know, he raised us in a way that was like, you know, volunteer for everything. Get your feet wet. Don't look at the title. Don't look at what you think it means, because it's never going to turn out to be what you think it means. And just volunteer for everything. And when I went in, I made that decision to do that. And so that really helped me learn more about how much I was restricting myself before I went in. And then also gave me the ability to see how much I could handle, what my actual limitations were for me personally, and not, you know, because, you know, all veterans have that competition, right? About, you know, who did more, and hey, I did it better. And we all have that sibling rivalry, if you will. And of course, I grew up in that, you know, especially across the branches. You know, we all give each other craziness about, you know, who's Army, who's, you know, Marine Corps, and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes down to it, being able to really look at yourself and see how much you can push yourself, man, that's a great opportunity to do it. And I was fortunate enough to take my grandfather's advice and see how far I could take it.
Yeah. And so Charlie Mike Nation, Miss Stevens says it right here. Volunteer for the opportunities that you get. You don't know what it's going to present. And a lot of times I know when we're in, nobody wants to be volunteered for whatever the case may be. But as you can see right in front of us, there's a lot of opportunities that are being missed unless you get out of your comfort zone and you volunteer for something, because you don't know where that's going to lead you.
That's exactly right. And not only to challenge yourself, but you'd be surprised who you meet and the experiences that you get out of it. It's great therapy. And also, you know, in a world where we're constantly bombarded with, you know, information and sometimes too many opinions, if you know what I mean, that volunteerism, that, you know, don't pay attention to the title because you never know. It gets you out of that. It gets you out of negativity. It gets you into things, like you said, getting out of your comfort zone. And it actually turns out to be a huge blessing.
Yeah, it definitely does, stepping out of your comfort zone. And you know, I'm in the same boat as you are when you speak about how you needed someone to hold you accountable in a higher standard. I think that's where I strive the most myself, is when someone says, you know, hey, this is what you're doing, and this is, you know, I need this, this, and this. And I think that's how a lot of people get around, you know, like
I think we thrive on that. You know, a lot of us, especially being enlisted, know that there's someone over you that's going to hold you to that standard. And across all military forces, we're all held to a certain set of standards when we put on the uniform, how we represent our country, how we represent our last names, right? It's always more than just us. And that's very well put, bro. I like that, kind of being held to that higher standard. within ourselves, and someone's going to hold you accountable, and that's what you get.
Yeah, and it's a challenge. Someone is here. This needs to be taken care of. Oh, no problem. I'll get that done. Right? And, you know what I'm saying? It gives you that empowerment to go. Oh, challenge accepted. Let me see what I can do with this. Let me see how far. And that actually stayed with me after through my transition and afterwards to start my own business, to get involved with the community. And I love it when someone says, "Oh, that hasn't been done," or "We can't do it." Oh, really? Let's just see if we can get that done. Okay. So it's and it keeps you in a positive state. You're staying mission ready at all times, no matter what that mission. I mean, crap. Even when I'm in events, and so there's always a challenge of someone telling me in events that, oh, this can't be done or this hasn't been done, and I'm like, okay, let's just see about that. Let's see what we can't do, and it keeps me highly motivated. It keeps me on my toes, and it keeps me in a state of so that I can ignore that negativity. I can ignore that bombardment of unnecessary information, if you will. It puts me the part I love the most is it puts me around others that think like me. And that's what I love the most. So that we don't, it's easy to, especially with certain social media platforms, it's real easy to get locked into a certain kind of environment.
Right.
And can be very overwhelming and downright nasty, if you will. But by being this way and always holding that standard and always not looking at what you think it looks like and go with, hey, there's a reason why this is needed. When you go for that, man, it just opens up doors and puts you around people that really, really increase your life.
Charlie Mike Nation, one of the things I want you to take from that segment, right, is for me, when you have a negative mindset or that negativity, there's only one outcome, and it's the outcome that you're thinking of, that failure, that setback. You think it's not going to get done. Congratulations. That mindset, it's not going to get done. But with an optimistic or a positive mindset, all you see are opportunities and possibilities of things getting accomplished, right?
Yeah.
Ms. Heather said it here. She has the outlook, that opportunities to know that no matter what's in front of me, I can get it done. It's impossible. No one's ever done it. Well, guess what? I'm going to show you how we do things and how we can accomplish that.
Yeah, exactly. And we all have those days. We all have those days that, man, I just don't feel like it. It's not about that. We need to remind ourselves that that's okay to have those days. Right. Yeah. It's okay to have, like y'all were talking about when you first came on, you need a break. There's a season for everything. That's real. And so, but being optimistic and taking the time for yourself to get in that, and so not only taking the time for yourself, but also surrounding yourself with those kind of people that have the same kind of mindset. It's okay to take a break. Hey, guess what? It is 5 o'clock. It's time for me to take a break. I can't achieve this today. That's okay. It is okay that I'm having a very bad day. Raul even said, some days his medication don't even work. I get that. Mine doesn't either. These glasses that I have to wear, I have light sensitivity. It's causing me to go blind. Wow, doesn't that change your life? Okay, guess what? It's not going to stop me. There's no way. I don't care if I have to take a break because I can't see today, because my glasses aren't working. Guess what? I still have tomorrow, and I still have a full checkoff list that I can still get done. We all have that. We need to constantly remind ourselves that, hey, it is okay. We're not alone. That's awesome. We have someone there that can say, hey, take a break, man. You're doing great. Get around those people, and volunteering helps. I mean, well, anytime you can get out in the community or make a phone call to a buddy or any of that kind of stuff will help you get through that.
Yeah. I agree 100%, definitely. Everything that was said.
Yeah,
You know,
you're right on brand for us. This is
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Like,
And boy, she can talk, can't she?
no, but that's exactly what we try to tell everyone is that, it's the shirt says it all. It's okay not to be okay. And,
Yeah.
it's one of the things that we push because, everybody struggles with their own, um, I guess, would you say demons?
Mhm. Yeah, demons, battles, mindsets, you know.
Yeah. And it's all about Charlie Mike.
Mm,
Continue
Yeah.
the mission, continue what you're doing, find your purpose, find something you love, and continue to do what excites you. If it's volunteering and giving back to the community, that's amazing. And that's always a good thing. If it's, there's a lot of things like we speak of Mattress Mac a lot
mhm.
and the amazing things that he does for the community, the veteran community, first responders, Houston. And that's someone that I strive to be like because of the amazing things he does.
Right, for the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring him up because back in the day, when his kids were little, I used to help babysit his kids,
Oh, wow.
and yeah, and so when I look at people like that, and there's so many that do it, but when I look at people like that, it's what I call the ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and then they become
Yeah.
extraordinary themselves. And it's very, very, it's a path that we can, if we raise our standards, but give ourselves some time to say it's okay. We can accomplish and be just like them. They've shown, they've proven it, a track record over and over and over that ordinary people can be extraordinary, which leads them to be extraordinary people, and it happens every day. Like you said, you got to find your niche on what makes, it's a little bit of personality, it's a little bit of experience, and a little bit of motivation, and you can get there. And everybody can have a piece of that pie of giving
Mhm.
back.
What do they say? The difference between ordinary and extraordinary? It's just that little bit of extra.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
exactly
Okay.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
No, I really appreciate this deep dive into how the veteran or how your military career really has transferred over and helped shape you and how that's gone along. But I'm curious to hear, when did Heather Herlong events come about?
Well, actually, by accident.
Mm,
Okay, so when I got out of the military, um, I decided to go back to school, and I just went to what I knew. I'd already always been in the medical field, so I went to nursing school. Um, during my right before I was supposed to graduate from nursing school, overachiever. I had a contract with Herman Life Flight. I wanted to go in Life Flight when I graduated from nursing school, and right before I was supposed to graduate, we had, you have to take physicals and all that kind of stuff, make sure you're ready to get out in the workforce, and that's when I found out that I have this light sensitivity condition where, and mine's a serious one where, my eyes, I got great vision, but my eyes don't filter light properly. Okay. So
wow.
eventually it'll make me go blind because there's too much light variations and I can't see. So I was in like, oh my God, what do I do now? It basically took me out of, you got to have eyes that see light when you're in the medical field. And basically the board, I had to go in front of the board of nursing and ask them if I could stay in. And they're like, nope. And I was like, okay, what? I just did
Mm,
a, I just did all these years of college. This is my whole entire life. This is all I've known. What? And I was 25 years, no, sorry, 27 years old. I was like, what in the HELL do I do now?
wow.
And yeah, and I was like, and I got depressed. I got really depressed because I had only known, go, you can do it. You can do it. This is what your life's going to look like. This is what you're going to be. This is how you're going to live. I mean, everything was already mapped out, and I'm going, now I got to put on the brakes. I got two by then. By the time I was graduating or supposed to graduate from nursing school, which I did not because I could not finish my last course. My last course, which was a law course, which was very detrimental. I became very depressed, which brought back all these craziness. And so I was like, what in the world am I going to do now? So I sought therapy, going, holy crap, I got two kids to take care of. I was a single mom trying to figure out what in the world was going on. And my therapist was like, Heather, you dove so far in with all your eggs in one basket. Now all you need to do is just kind of let's get some more baskets, and we're going to try some things out, and you find out what fits. Well, everything that kept fitting was helping others, save people time, save people money, help them achieve their goals. I mean, everything lined up with the same. I mean, it wasn't medical. I didn't need to give them they didn't need an IV bag anymore, but they still needed time, or they needed help or whatever. So I started an organizing company in Montgomery County, and it was just, I just threw it out there to help people. That was my drive. I just wanted to help people, whatever that looked like. So I went to veterans, I went to small businesses, I went to nonprofits, I went to everybody and said, hey, if you need help and you don't have the staff to do it, then you just hire me and I help you get organized, whatever that is, whatever that means. And then within like weeks, it was like, oh no, we've got events coming up. We need help with events. We need help with events. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I'm digging this. They say, well, last year and for the last 3 years, one of the top 10 most stressful jobs in the United States is event planning, because it's a lot of hours, a lot of change, and a lot of, opinions. Okay. Of I want this decoration. I want this, that kind of thing. And so, wow, right up my alley. Hey, give me a challenge and put a challenge in front of me, and I'll take care of it. So it just kind of happened. And then the most crazy thing, I started feeling insecure because I started doing all these events, and I had background in emergency medicine. How am I going to prove to these people that I'm smart enough to do events, right? Because everybody wants some kind of, industry standard,
Right.
Recognition, if you will. And lo and behold, while I'm doing all these events, I get approached at different points over a 3-year period by some amazing companies. First, it was Signorelli Company out of East Montgomery County, and they needed help with their trade events, and some other stuff. And then it was Hilton Americas International was doing a veteran program. They reached out to me and saw that I was doing events. Their recruiter reached out to me and said, hey, Heather, we got this veterans program. We're going to educate you in the industry and intern you in one of the biggest hotels in our group. And I was like, ooh, sign me up. I need to learn. And then Bon Appetit recruited me when they came into Houston, because they saw the work that I had done with Hilton and with Signorelli trade, with their trade events. And so I just kept getting these opportunities. So what I did was I put my company on hold, not on hold. I still worked part-time, but then shifted into the education and the intern side of it, so that I could get those real deep, dark secrets of the industry, if you will.
Right.
And loved it, had a blast. And then I was like, okay, now I'm ready. I've got my credentials. I can show them what I've done. And of course, with these big names, Bon Appetit's out of California. Everybody knows who Hilton is. And then of course, working with local companies like Signorelli, it gave me the well-rounded finish, the polish, if that's what you want to call it, the polish that I needed. So so then it was, okay, now restructure and get back to it full time.
Very cool. So to kind of summarize, you took this chance. You were going to college. You found out that this medical field wasn't going to be able to fit your physical needs. You weren't going to be able to fit the requirements.
Right.
Then you take some time to do some soul searching through a therapist. Thankfully, I've been there before.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
got to
I
figure out
think we
who
all
you
have.
are. You get into organizing, which is phenomenal. I love hearing about that. My wife actually does that part time with her friends. So
It's very satisfying.
it is because there is natural carryover where she'll do it at home, and I'm like, man, you're really good.
Yeah, right?
And then you did a little bit of organizing. You got to some smaller events. You saw an opportunity to take some certifications or get the industry experience through larger corporations. And then when you did have that experience, you went right back to Heather Herlong events.
Right.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So how long now have you been full-time event planner?
For the restructure, I've only been up and running for 4 years. For the whole time, it's over 17.
Wow.
Yeah. So this for me by myself, if you will. When I originally started, it was back in 2004, 2005, and I was, I mean, I was. It was like a slingshot. I got into it. Started with helping with nonprofits and small businesses with their events, and got really big really quickly. And I noticed back then. I noticed that there was and there was back then. We didn't have the internet like we have now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was a huge gap between what huge corporations had at their disposal for resources, and then you had the little people down here that didn't get nothing, no resources. There was no apps. There was no, and back then we didn't have apps. We were, still dialing up and waiting for that cool noise to come up and say, "Yay, we got on." And so it was a lot different. And that me being able to go work in the corporate world because I did that full time, and then I had my company part time. I was able to bridge that gap and find the resources that smaller companies needed when we transitioned from dial up to what we have now, internet.
That's amazing. How are you? I know your event planning business was affected seriously during COVID. How were you able to survive that period of time?
What's crazy is that my events increased during COVID.
Get out of here, for real?
Yeah, for real. I did not skip a beat, and sales doubled that year for me. Yeah. Yeah. And it was because I think it was the human side that pulled everybody. Look, we can't stop living. The industry shut down. So many of my competitors and so many of my affiliates that I had been working with, everything from rental companies to everybody that depended on events, was losing and having to close their doors. And so what I did was when I saw my sales start going off the charts and going, oh my goodness, how am I going to pull this off? Well, let's just do it. Okay. So I went out and I called everybody that I knew that was in the events. And I said, hey, are y'all still doing events? I'm doing events. I need help. From chair rental and from rental companies to florist. And we would make these deals. And then I went back to the books because I wanted to make sure that we stayed in, within the guidelines that was being, I didn't want to get in trouble. There were so many companies getting in trouble for going against the rules, right? For trying to stay open when they were trying to close down. And I was like, oh no, this is not what we're going to do. If it's in writing, if there's a restriction or a guideline in writing, I want it. I want to know what the government's telling me what I can and cannot do. So I just went and studied the crap out of what the CDC was saying and what the government was saying as far as our restrictions. and then just applied them. And we stayed busy. Oh my God. I needed a serious vacation after COVID.
That's amazing just to hear, because you would think that the event planning, would have been one of the hardest hit. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it was the industry for itself. The hospitality industry took one of the biggest hits of all industries. The hospitality industry, I mean, restaurants, hotels, events, everything. People got scared. I just was fortunate enough to put myself in front of people that weren't scared. There was a big fear factor for about 8 months during from the first release, which was in January. Okay, the first release of information when people started getting fearful, right? What I sat down when my clients came to me, I sat down with them, showed them what the CDC was saying, showed them what the government's guidelines were, and said, y'all, this is doable if we, as long as we follow these guidelines, we can still do what you want to do. And it was really neat to watch the fear decrease, because fear is the unknown, right? And it taught us that we could either let fear override us, or we could get some kind of, it's not there's no such, and apologies if no one else believes it the way I do, but I don't believe in control. I don't think I think that's an illusion. Control is an illusion to me. Okay, so what do? You get the best resources that you can possibly get. You find out as much of the right information, and stay away from opinions. Okay, and you make the best decisions with the real information. Once you do that, man, that gives you the confidence.
No, that's great to hear. You saw the problem, you saw where the hesitation was going to be, and you said the best thing to do for me to eliminate the fear, because you said fear is of the unknown, is to learn as much of the solution that I can. And you got your hands on the guidelines, and that takes a lot of courage to do that, and foresight to say, this is what we're going to do next. I have what you need. This is my business. And again, that same mentality, it goes back to tell me it's impossible, and I'll show you what's possible. Because impossible is actually I'm possible. So that's really, really cool to hear. And congratulations for that. That's you really should be commended. That's amazing to hear that you can take a bad situation and turn it around and continue to thrive through some of those hardest times, because a lot of folks were hit during that time.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yes.
with us on the apparel side, nobody was buying apparel. Everybody was saving their money for the most part. And I really wish that we would have started the podcast during COVID, but we got it right towards the end is when we started it. But it's adapting.
Yeah.
Charlie Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like to hear that too. You said the right word, Raul, and it seems like you've got that in you too, Ms. Heather. The adapt, to say this is what I'm passionate about. I really love what I'm doing. You obviously have a great mindset about you and knowledge. So you made a lot happen, and that's awesome to hear.
Yeah, definitely amazing.
Thank you. Well, and another thing, y'all, is that sometimes we get caught up in the illusions of not liking change. Okay, but when you really sit down and look at life, it's constant change, right? And we don't cut ourselves enough slack to be able to adapt to that change, because we want, whether it's fear and sometimes it's just complacency. We get stuck in our regular routine, whether it's a stupid diet or, and I say stupid because we're constantly going through, depending on what time of the year it is. Okay, so January, we're all about diets, and getting fit. Summer, oh crap, got to get the bathing suits out. Let's get, but that's change, right? So the whole point is if we accept that the inevitable is change, then it does make it easier to see see the forest through the trees, you know what I mean? Or vice versa, however you want to look at it. And we're able to adapt. And y'all, what y'all are doing is amazing. So it doesn't matter what time or when you started it, you're here. And what you're doing is accomplishing so much and being a great resource to so many people. It doesn't matter what year or what was going on, you're here. And that's what matters.
That reminds me of the Heraclitus, which is a Greek philosopher. He quotes, "Change is the only constant in life." Right?
That's
The
right.
one thing you can rely on is that it's going to change.
It's going
Different
to.
seasons, just like I like to
Yeah.
say, I like to describe them as waves. Life comes in waves. You're gonna have really good times, some really low times, and it's all about what you're doing while you're riding that wave. But the change is constant, and you have to adapt. You have to improvise. You have to overcome. Oh, that's a great meme. We should share that one time. But it is, and we really appreciate that. Thanks. We're really trying to do our best here at Charlie Mike
Yeah.
to share that. We're both fully believe
look
in
at the
this.
puppy.
This is Henry. This is Henry. This is my little hero. He helps me.
Oh, that's amazing.
Sorry, we got sidetracked.
Yep, there's the dog just came into the picture, and there goes Raul's attention span.
Right.
But it actually gives us a great time to kind of pivot. So I know you're very passionate about the your nonprofits and your volunteer work. So tell us, what is it that you do as your side passion?
Okay, so with the company, we sponsor a lot of events, nonprofit events. Okay, so I usually pick 3 nonprofits a year, and I'll donate, whether it be equipment or whatever kind of support their events need. So I sponsor with the company. But as far as I've joined Blue Star Moms. Both of my sons have served or are serving. My oldest served in the Coast Guard, and then my youngest is currently serving in the Army.
Right.
And so that next generation, right?
Tell us for those
So
who
when
don't
I
know.
was,
Could you tell us
huh?
for those who don't know? Could you tell us what a Blue Star Mom is?
Blue Star Moms is an organization, a national organization recognized by Congress that supports, of course, our children who are serving or have served, so they can be veteran status or active duty status or reserves, and military families. We also support veterans, basically in the military community. Each chapter that is chartered from national represents an area. For instance, we have a chapter for Houston, and then we have Spring Creek, which is the one I belong to, which is Montgomery County. Okay, so we provide support for veterans, active duty, our children, and each other. Military life is a different kind of life, you know. So we give a lot of support to the families as well. I actually my first encounter with the Blue Star Mother was when I was serving. I actually received one of these. We call Spring Creek area calls them Stars for Heroes. What it is it's a retired flag star. Okay, so we retire flags, then we cut out the stars before we do the final ceremony of the retired flag, and then we put a little message in with the star, and we hand them out to active duty and veterans to let them know that they're not forgotten, for them to carry around these stars so that they can remember that we are here for them. No matter what they need, we can find a resource. If we don't have the resource, we find the resource for them. And it's a personal recognition. This is how I found out about the Blue Star Moms. So then when my children enlisted, then I was like, oh man. And I kept mine since I had it. And so since I got it back in the 90s. So I carried it around in my wallet to remind me of, hey, it's okay to have bad days and someone's there for me if I need them. And so that's when I was like, okay, the kids are going in. It's time for me to give back. And so that's when I joined Blue Star Moms.
That's amazing. I've never seen that before or heard of that. No.
Oh, then we need to get you some stars. And
yeah,
also anybody that wants to hand out these stars to veterans or to active duty, all they have to do is email us and we'll send them to them, because we do that. This is part of one of our programs to give support to the community. So yeah, we need to get y'all some stars.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome.
Right. And so just to recap, there is a proper way to retire the United States flag. So once it's no longer eligible or able to represent the flown flag, if it's torn or if it's tattered, you can take it down. You can take it to some of these nonprofit organizations like the Blue Star.
We have,
Mhm.
we have collections
Mhm.
at, well, for Montgomery County, we have collections at Honor Cafe and VFW 4709.
Oh, good people.
And you
Both
can
those.
drop, I'm sorry?
I said I love both those places.
I know, right? And so we've got drop-off locations there. We do, when we retire our flags, not only do we retire them ourselves according to the flag code, the US approved flag code, but we also get with other local nonprofits that retire flags, like with the VFW, when they do their ceremonies, we get with them. And then we also get with the local Boy Scouts, and we retire our flags with them. And it's really a cool ceremony. If you check on their websites or their Facebook pages, they will post public ceremonies that you can attend and learn more and to see how they're retired.
Mm-hmm.
So the locations, the drop-off locations for retired flags were Honor Cafe and VFW Post
4709, or is it 4709? Oh my God. Don't let me tell you wrong. It's
Well,
the
I
one
think-
it's Conroe's.
Okay, so I think a lot of the VFWs do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes,
but,
all the VFWs do. It's just our drop-off
Okay.
containers are there.
okay, awesome. Honor Cafe, shout out. We got to go
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah, we do. We do. Honor Cafe is awesome. He's also a member of the Houston Regional Veterans Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
Which, by the way, if you haven't heard, we gotta get you invited to at least a meeting.
Yes, yes, I would love to. I would love
Yes.
to.
Okay. When we officially close out the podcast, I'll make sure I send you some of the info for that.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
amazing.
And that was VFW 4709,
Mhm.
4709. Yeah.
Conroe. And we work with them a lot. So they're great. Check out their Facebook page and stuff.
Yep. No, I love what you guys are doing for the community, for veterans. It's great to hear that. And so you're the president of the Spring Creek chapter?
Yes. Yes, I am.
How long
Yeah,
have you
and
been
a
doing that?
founding member. So we were able to start in March of 21. We got chartered in March of 21. And so we're kicking butt, man. Anybody that wants to come out and help us, we've got so many cool missions. Stars for Heroes is one of them. We do care packages. We're like just under 1,000 care packages out so far. We've gotten a Gold Star banner flag presented at the Montgomery County Veterans Memorial Park last month. We did that ceremony. Our goal is to get, cross your fingers, is to get a Blue Star service flag up at that park as soon as possible. That represents, if people aren't aware of what the Blue Star service flag or Gold Star service flag are about, they can look on our Facebook page and learn more. The stars represent someone that has served or someone that has fallen during service. The Gold Star is for the fallen, and Blue Star is for someone who has served. So so get more information from our Facebook page. It's really neat. And we've got all kinds of great events coming up. We love everybody to come out and enjoy our events.
Right. I do see you guys are very active on Facebook as well. You can find them at Spring Creek Area Blue Star Mothers.
Yeah. And everybody can join. So I know that our name is about mommies, but but we welcome everyone. We have associate members that their membership is actually free, and that's anyone that either has a friend, is a veteran. So anybody can join. We even have Blue Star fathers, Blue Star dads that join and help. We do lots of events. We even have one of our Blue Star dads owns military vehicles. So we are you'll see us riding around Conroe in a military vehicle, and that's us. So yeah, everybody's welcome.
I did hear that. That's great. It's great to get involved. So if you're out there and you're looking for ways to get involved, this is definitely one way for you to do that. Uh, Blue Star moms are very active, or Blue Star families.
Yes.
Uh, is someone who served, and a Gold Star family is someone who served who lost their lives in combat. So those are two very special meanings to us. My family, of course, is a Blue Star family. My grandparents are Blue Star grandparents too. And then I have a good friend of mine, his sister here, and they're Gold Star family members. And so we're very aware of in the military life what that means. And we really appreciate you guys continuing to support those who have served. And it's great to hear that there's just a different mindset along a lot of the veterans. Sometimes you just need someone to know what it was like to go through. And this is a great resource for you if you're up there in Montgomery County. Of course, there is one here in Houston, but not today. Today we have on we have on Montgomery County. So if you have them, please go check them out. They are doing some amazing things in the community, and I really I'm glad we're connected.
Definitely.
I am too.
It's amazing to hear what you're doing and what you've done.
Well, thank you so much, and y'all too, man. I'm just trying to keep up with y'all. Y'all are setting the pace.
Yeah. And so one other thing, you were with Mr. Tree McLean on their podcast. How did you like that? I heard you were going
Oh
to.
my God, I love that
Have you done any guest hosting yet?
Well, I'm trying to get it in my busy schedule. I really want to do a call to action series with Tree. Is what I'm working on now. That's going to be the latest. I'm going to try to get it going either right before Veterans Day or right after Veterans Day is my goal. But what it is I want to get as many nonprofits, kind of have a resource of who's doing what and where as far as events. So that people can come on and say, hey, this month, if you want to join Vet Fest, or we've got parades going on in Houston, or we got parades going on in Montgomery County, come check these out. It's going to be called Call to Action News, but it's going to be specifically for who's got events where for military families.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. We had a post like that about last week, trying to do the same thing, because there really are. There's a whole lot of stuff. And then we were just sitting here talking too. A lot of the schools are doing stuff, and so I've got kids in 3 different schools, and I'll be hopping around trying to make all their events because they want their dad to show, which is awesome. But
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
there's so much going on in the communities. There's never going to be one-stop shop for everybody, but if we can get a few, like, hey, make sure you check them out and check them out and check them out, then we can
Yes.
definitely get the word out there, because we're firm believers in that our platform is here to make sure that we're doing the best job to let everybody know what's going on in our community, especially here in Houston, but in the
Yes.
veteran communities, because there's ways to get there's
Well, and
different.
they overlap, right? They
Mhm.
overlap. And I actually live in Harris County, but right across the street is Montgomery County. Okay.
Mhm.
So, and we've got those people that want to do something different occasionally, but then want to do something locally. And there's not, you're right. There might not ever be one platform that we can go to, but at least we
Mhm.
can start, because it has not been done. So for
Right.
all any kind of military, what I'd like to present is support all military nonprofits from, if you think it would be something cool, there's some days that I want to drive down to Galveston because I heard about a veteran event that I want to drive down to Galveston for. There's no one telling me about it, right?
Right.
So I want
Right.
to be able to get as much information. So whoever, I challenge everyone in the state of Texas, if you've got a cool, especially in Montgomery County or Harris County, if you've got a cool event that's going on for military veterans, hey, I'm your girl. Let me know about it so I know how to tell people where to go.
Well, this is a fantastic segue. Why don't you let us know how's the best way to get a hold of you? Is it socials? Let us know your website. Let us know how the Charlie Mike Nation can come find you, to support you, to show you what events we have going on.
Okay, so probably, and you caught me off guard.
All right.
Probably the best way to get would be either message me through social media. And I've got enough, either Blue Star Moms or Heather Herlong Events or my personal. Okay. I look at all three. I look at all three. Or you can, if you are a nonprofit and would like to get involved, especially with call to action news about getting on the list, then email me at president.tx18 at Blue Star Mothers of America. Oh my Lord,
I think
that's
I got it. I think I got it.
yeah, that probably is going to be hard for people to remember. Just contact me on social media. That
So
might, and then I can reach out with the proper resources back to you.
I'll make sure Raul puts these in the notes. I'm gonna say I wanted to say we, but we're not doing the notes. It's gonna be Raul. So if you want to get in touch with Miss Heather, you can reach her at president.tx18 at bluestarmothers.us.
That's an email for you right there.
Yeah.
I know, right? And my company is too. It's so stinking long, but at least it'll be memorable. You'll know who you're talking to. And then also, of course, our social media pages. We have a main page for Blue Star Mother, Spring Creek area, Blue Star Mothers. You can always reach out to us. I mean, even send us a comment in one of the pictures, and we'll respond. We have a great board. We actually have our first full board for our chapter, which is great. Great bunch of women that are highly dedicated and want to help with the community. So reach out to us. And then, of course, my personal page and my work page. Hey, whatever you need, I'm here.
So I do have one question that I want to add to our rotation, right, before we close out, is what does Charlie Mike mean to you?
Oh, man, connection.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I love that.
Yeah. I love
Connection. I've been following y'all and watching you, and just like we were talking about earlier, we might not be able to accomplish a one-stop for everybody, but hey, man, we're gonna try,
Yeah, right.
and y'all are one step closer to that, and I appreciate y'all's hard work and motivation, and who you have on is just amazing. I thank you and commend you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you for being a guest, and thank you for coming on the show. Would you,
Man, just to sum it up, she's Miss Heather has given us so much knowledge. We really appreciate your time. I want to make sure that you guys give her a follow. It's Heather Herlong Stevens. You can follow her on her professional page, Heather Herlong Events, and check her out at Spring Creek Area Blue Star Mothers on Facebook.
Yeah.
And again, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Heather, thank you for being on the show. As always, be sure to like, share, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube. Be sure to check us out on social medias. And be sure to check out CharlieMikeMilitaryApparel.com.
That's right.
We are always here. And this month's t-shirt of the month is the one I'm wearing.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay not to be okay.
Yeah,
and that's
I love that.
just a shirt that we love. And I love wearing it because people see it and I like that. Regardless of where I go, people like, I like your shirt, because it is what it is.
It's what we are.
Yeah.
Really.
So be sure to Charlie Mike. If you need help, reach out.
That's right.
It's okay to struggle.
It is.
As always.
Yeah.
Charlie Mike.